All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Town of Edmonston Town Council meeting. It is now 7:12, and we are going to call our meeting to order. At this time, I'll ask if everyone could just pledge our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. And also, we always just pause for a few moments for a moment of silence. Um, this week, I just ask us to remember the young lady from Duval that lost her life just 2 days ago, and any other reflection that you want to give. So at this time, let's pause for a moment of silence. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Great to see our attorney here tonight. Thank you for being here. All right. I'll open it now for public comment. Ms. Dina, I know you're here.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening. Really quick, I went over to the city town hall the other day, and I spoke with Chief Bill, who was very helpful and listened to my concerns. Primarily, and they all kind of tie. Two of the three tied together. My primary concern is, again, street lights. Street lights on 47th Avenue are very, very dim. I've been complaining about this for a very long time. Haven't received any feedback on it. We're working on it. We don't have it in the budget, whatever. I haven't gotten anything. That street is one of the dimmest streets to me in the town. I may be biased because it's my street that I live on, which is a great segue for dim lights causes destruction. And I say that to say that because the park is on that street, we get random people all of the time, all hours of the day, all hours of the night, obstructing my driveway, parking on both sides of the streets, getting out, letting their kids play. It's been, and I expressed this again to Chief Bill the other day.
No.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, the other night it was two look like young late teens, early 20-year-olds sitting on the swings, drinking pot and smoking. I mean, drinking liquor and smoking. And once we pulled in and I got out and I went in the house, probably for the next 15 minutes, they got in their car. Their car was parked at the end of my driveway, but on the other side of the street. I contribute that to, there's no lighting over there. So it's people sit in that park all the time who I know do not live around here, because I have a list of tag license plates that I keep of every type of car that comes there. It parks in front of my house. It parks in front of the neighbor to my right. If your back is to the house, they park across the street. That's already an issue, which is my third leg of my issues and concerns, is that Chief Bill addressed as well. Temporary parking. I don't know what your residential temporary parking. I mean, how temporary is temporary? Is it because it's going on 30, 60 days that the people across the street have had a temporary thing? If they're living there or if he's renting, out a space in the basement or whatever, just get the proper credentials and park your car on the opposite end of the street. It obstructs my driveway. I have to pull in, pull out, pull in, whereas before I didn't have to do those things. So I just, wish that we can get more patrol. And he did explain to me that there's a lack of personnel. So I'm clear on that, and they're working on that. And I requested that more what do you call it, um, surveillance be done through that street. But it all correlates to the lighting. I mean, you can't stop people from coming and enjoying a public place, which is not my issue at all. Just abide by the town rules, and we just need to have that enforced. And entrance from Decatur Street onto 47th up into the park, absolutely no parking on either sides of the streets. Once you pass the garden, it's only parking on the left side of the street. And it is my understanding that that has to be voted on, which once I am aware that that will become a matter to vote on, I'm still against voting on our side of the street. One, because the street is not that wide. So it's not even enough room to have cars parked on the street. But just the lighting is uber important to me. One, for everybody's safety. Two, it's right across the street from me. So I see a lot of activity going on, a lot. And I know, and it's not children in the park, because the only kids that I do see are my neighbors two down to the left. And that's when they're visiting their grandparents. And then it's a family that comes from, I think, Taylor Street, because I walk the neighborhood and I see them sometimes, and they'll bring their kids around. Other than that, it's a bunch of people who randomly ride through the neighborhood. Like I told Chief Bill, Edmonston is not that secretive, but it's definitely not a space to where, oh, I was just in the neighborhood type thing. You either know somebody there or you took a wrong turn. But people are onto it, to that park. And just the other day, yesterday, it was a cup with liquor in it left under the swing where the people were sitting at. And I just think it's absurd, and it's unsafe for me and my family and anybody else that's on that street, because you just don't know what's happening because it's so dark over there. And I don't know if that's an Edmonston issue or a Park Services issue. If it is, I will address it with Park Services. I don't have a problem with that. But just, want more surveillance, more lighting, and then the parking, on the street on that side from the entrance of Decatur up until the park.
Christina, let me ask you
Yes.
again, the parking, what are you saying? You're
So
asking for,
so my neighbor across the street, which I respect him, he respects us, never had the issue. And it's not an issue if it's temporary. It will become an issue if this is ongoing. If they're requesting
are you talking about visitors passes?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
this is how many visitors all day. This has been going on for the whole summer. So if he has someone living there and they have a vehicle that doesn't fit into his space, they need to park down the street where parking is allowed and not the visitor parking. Because at that point, you're not a visitor, you're a resident, and you need to have the proper credentials to park. That street on my side of the street and across the street is no parking on the street.
I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're a resident, get the proper stuff and park down the street. If you're actually truly visiting, that's not an issue. But it only becomes an issue when I can't get in and out of my driveway in one zip like I normally can. I have to maneuver in, out, back up, turn, go down the street, turn around and come back in to back in. Like that's insane.
I got you. Okay. Well, thank you. Mr. Barnes, did you want to address anything? Like lights?
Yes, we have a project that's going to be adding 19 streetlights to 47th Avenue. Starts at Decatur and goes all the way to Hamilton. And it's with the approval process right now. The engineers have designed it, and so they'll probably be under construction in the early spring, but January, February timeframe.
Okay, that's good to hear.
My apologies for not updating you.
And then additionally, a sidewalk will go down one side of the street
as well.
So how does that work when Okay, was that voted on, the sidewalk? Because I seen sidewalks on, I guess that's, I don't know. When the
mayor,
stop sign.
yeah, the mayor and council has had a pedestrian sidewalk plan done a number of years ago, with the idea and design to place a sidewalk on one side of the street on all city streets, so that, or town streets, so that children could get to the school bus stops and to the
Oh,
park
good.
by walking on the sidewalk versus walking in the street.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So it'll be safe to say, because it's a business at the end of the entrance of Decatur, that sidewalk will be on my side of the street.
No, not necessarily, Dina. The engineers look at what's on the street in terms of of obstacles. So for instance, if all the power lines are on your side of the street, then it's not likely the sidewalk would be on your side. It would be on the opposite side.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. Okay, I'm here for it. All safety for the kids, because, yep, the walking in the streets and yeah, I'm here for it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Miss Dina, before you go, can I get your address for our written records? This is Avery Gray, town clerk.
Sure, 5005.
47.
47.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you guys. Have a good evening.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Chief, for answering her questions in advance. Appreciate that. The next item is vote for approval of our work session meeting minutes as for July 12th, and also our July 12th regular session meeting minutes and our closed session meeting minutes. I will accept a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Holly, thank you so much. First, second, all to approve this motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Blank. Thank you so much. The next item is the consideration of approval for the police department's first set of general orders, excluding at this time, until further discussion, 300 through 306. Is that correct? 300 through 306? That's
Yes.
what I wrote down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yes. So I'll accept the motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second.
Thank you so much. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Excellent. That motion passes. And Judge Deloach, the reason for that is just so that we can do just a little bit more review of those. I guess you figured that part out, and we'll insert it the next time. The next item is the consideration of introduction of ordinance 2023-OR-05, raising the vehicle release fees from 85 to 150 per the FY 23-24 annual budget. So we had some discussion on this. And do we want to table this until, or do you have the edits now, Mr. Barnes?
No, I think you, Mayor, you can introduce it, and then I'll give the edits to the town attorney for final, when you approve it finally at October meeting.
Okay, so that is with edits.
Yeah, the edits are to add penalty for repeat offenders and for people that remove stickers from the vehicle.
Just to increase the fees. Increment.
Motion to introduce it with the
Pending.
adjustments to come.
Yeah. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you so much. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Okay. The next item is the consideration of introduction of ordinance 2023-OR-06, raising the business license rate from $250 to $300 with a $50 annual increase to a maximum of $600 per the FY 23-24 annual budget. This is just saying that after year one, the fee will increase by $50, year two, $50, up to a maximum of $600 at this time. Is there a motion to introduce this ordinance?
I'll make the motion.
You guys can take turns who makes the motion.
Sarah, anytime you want to
All
take
right.
You're just doing so well, Betsy.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
The next item is the consideration of agreement with LPI to print the town's quarterly newsletter at no cost. Just for a brief description, LPI will print our town newsletter in color for no fee to us. What happens is LPI gets paid by advertisement. The town does have the option of what type of advertisement is done with our newsletter. So I think it's a great opportunity for businesses as well as a great opportunity for us to have our newsletter printed at no fee. Is there a motion to approve this agreement?
I move we approve the agreement. Oh, wait, Mr. Barnes has his hand raised.
Just the motion needs to say, subject to the town attorney's review.
Oh, okay. All right.
Subject to the town attorney's
review. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
In the discussion.
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. All right. The next item is the consideration of approval of an architect agreement with Smith's Architect, Perry Hall, MD, to design the renovation of Edmonston's Town Hall using our ARPA funds. Mr. Barnes, would you like to expound on that, please?
Your Honor, this has been a project in the making and part of your strategic plan to review and develop over the last 18 months or almost 2 years. And so this is the first step in hiring the architect to do the conceptual design. It would add space to the back of the building, a community meeting room. Essentially, it would relocate the kitchen, the bathrooms, provide a shower and a locker room area for the police officers. It would also provide additional office space for those folks that are out in the council room currently into offices. And then it would change the front entrance, allowing for a double security lock so that you don't have the temperature issues in the lobby of either freezing or being extremely warm. So the architect will now, the next step will be for them to meet with you, review the plans, go over the design so that you're comfortable with what they're proposing. And then once that is satisfied, then he would start the design. It's anticipated that the design will take about 6 months, about a year for permitting and inspection to approve, and then about a year to 18 months for construction. So we're looking at a completed date of about middle of 2025.
That's not that long. 25 that long. All right. Is there a motion to approve?
I move we approve the architect agreement.
Thank you. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I was going to ask a question. Oh, I was just going to say that this is just the approval of the agreement. Correct.
Correct.
All right. So all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Thank you very much. The next item is the consideration of approval of an updated safety policy for the town. And Mr. Barnes?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. That we have recently had a motion inspection and also a legit inspection on our, that's who writes our property and liability insurance. We have some policies that are on the books in our personnel manual and in the general orders about safety for our employees and for our facilities, but this formalizes it a little bit better. It also uses the documents that Legit provided to us as they would recommend. So when they come back to audit and review us next time, I can pull out the documents. I can also, this develops a committee that Chief and I will head up of our employees that we would meet quarterly, review any incidents. We don't, knock on wood, have any incidents typically, but we can take suggestions and improvements that they have for any kind of safety awareness that we might have or need to make sure that our employees are doing a safe manner all of their jobs that they conduct daily.
All right, thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve the updated safety policy?
I move we approve the updated safety policy.
There's a second. Thank you so much. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Great. The next item is the consideration of approval of a 3-year road salt agreement with the state highway. Is there a motion to approve?
I move we get some salt.
Great. Great. Does someone else approve?
I'll second.
Thank you so much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Miss Betsy?
Yes.
You want some salt? You made the second. All right. So you said aye? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I said aye.
Great, great. Thank you so much for that portion. Chief?
Ready?
Yep, your report, please, sir.
First, I'll start off with the code report. First off, good evening to everyone. So the code report for the month of August, our code of compliance officer issued 19 municipal infractions, which are the civil citations, 19 violation warning letters, which are the orange stickers. She did 1 rental inspection, issued 4 parking citations, and conducted, no inspections, but 19 code violation follow-ups. She also made contact with Washington Gas to provide a maintenance to their property on Buchanan Street. As you guys know, they own the lot right there at 5110 or 4901 Buchanan. They own the corner lot on Buchanan Street. So she's been in contact with them. She issued 5 business licenses to include a new business in town, which is on Buchanan Street. It's a muffler shop. And that is it for that one. Moving on to the police department's report. So of course, we had 0 Part 1 offenses, which are the homicides, the felony assaults, the burglaries. We only had 3 stolen autos and 2 theft from autos. Issued 115 parking tickets, 180 move violations, conducted 100 premise checks, did 60 traffic stops, 22 vehicle impounds, and we answered 100 calls for service in town. The red light camera gained us $1,881.50. The speed camera, we supposedly we might see something at the end of this month. After talking to Mike from Ultimate, so I'll keep you guys posted on the speed camera. We are getting a lot of citations from that. We have approved over 2,000 citations from the speed camera itself. So we'll be working on that. So I'll keep you guys posted. And other things for the police department, we did receive a grant to conduct enforcement actions for the month of October from the Maryland Department of Transportation. One grant is for distracted driving, everything from texting while driving, on the phone while driving without using a handheld device, eating while driving, drinking while driving. That's all under the enforcement action. It's not saying that you also have to write a ticket for it. We just have to document that we made contact with the driver or the violator in reference to that. So the officer has the ability to give a warning. They can give 100 warnings. They can give 100 tickets. We just got to show that we're making contact for that. The second one is a impaired driving enforcement. We'll be focusing only on impaired driving, whether it's you've been under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, stuff like that. I created a physical fit plan. So now the police officers, twice a month, we're going to do some type of physical agility, whether it's taking a jog through the town, maybe like a little warm-up session, but it's mainly to make sure that the officers stay physically fit and to stay in good shape, especially with us being a small town. Lastly, the VR simulator, we finally got the new computer sent in. The one they sent us at first was messing up, so they had to send us an entire new computer for free. So I plan on putting the town council, if you guys are up to it, through a couple of scenarios. On October the 20th, it's going to be at the rec center from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So just shoot me an email, put me to the side. If you guys want to participate in it, we'll be up there. I also have the patrol officers up there going through some de-escalation situations. It's a good system. Brentwood sent a couple of officers, Carter City came through, Como Manor. And what we can do is we can do everything on that system. Traffic stop, I can have a person pull out a cell phone and act like they're recording and see how the officer's going to react to, okay, we're having a cordial conversation on the side of the road. I asked you for the documents, and next thing you know, I heard him pull out a cell phone, or I heard him put in my wallet. So it's a good system. It's a great system that we have. And that's it for my report.
Thank you. Any questions for our chief? Yes, Ms. Tuberville?
Is it possible to get a makeup date for doing the simulator if one is unavailable for
Yeah,
October?
yeah, I'll look into that.
Okay.
Anyone else? Well, I did want to say, if I hadn't said it before, Public was a great job with the trailer, the color,
Oh, yeah.
the insignia, everything looks great. And I understand that you took it to, did you support a town?
Oh, yeah. So last week, unfortunately, Brentwood had a homicide in the early morning of the day. Myself and Officer Smith, we responded to assist Brentwood. Once we got on scene, we realized that they would have to shut the road down for quite some time. So to free up officers both from Edmonston, Brentwood, and Prince George's County, we deployed the trailer, which it came in handy because we were able to go on scene, put out some cones, free up a lot of officers to take up emergency calls. I freed up our officers. We left the trailer there. We had their public works once they were done to put everything back in the trailer, and then our public works went to go pick it back up and bring it back to town. So it comes in handy a lot. So not only does it benefit us here in Edmonston most of the time, but we have the ability to assist our neighboring jurisdictions that help us out a lot with different calls for service or backing officers up on calls like Bladensburg, Brentwood, and Carter City. So it comes in handy.
Very good. And they can look and see that it's Edmonston supporting
Yeah,
it.
that's the one thing they said. They say, well, that's a big trailer, and it's
Yeah.
it's big.
And a big insignia too, right on that trailer. So that's good. Very
It looks
good.
nice. It looks
And I know
nice.
that you guys had a pretty tough week last week with a couple of casualties, deaths. So thank you for the professionalism of the police department. Really appreciate that.
Anytime.
All right. Mr. Barnes?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things quickly to remind everyone, Captain Solomon is retiring from the town after 16 years of service. We have an open house for him on Sunday from 3 to 5 at the rec center. He'll be on hand too, so that we can wish him well in his new journey. We have a new, most of you I think have had interaction, but we were successful with a grant to bring a Chesapeake Conservation Climate Corps intern to Edmonston for a year, and we have the wonderful experience of having Jamila Mendez with us, and she is just amazing. So she is working hard with her work plan. She's got great ideas that she's going to be doing. She's helping create a junior green team for us. She's going to do a green fair in the summer next year. She's working on trees and the canopy and improving proving that and doing a large amount of outreach to particularly the Hispanic community and educating families on environmental issues here in our community. So it's a really great thing. Well, her first project that she and our exciting communication specialist came up with is Parking Day this Friday. And Parking Day is a national activity that takes parking spaces all across cities and turns them into parks for a day so that people can enjoy green space and activities. So they're turning the circle in front of Town Hall into our Parking Day event on Friday from 4 to 7. And they have all kinds of wonderful things. It's also the kickoff for them and for us for Hispanic Heritage Month. So they have the flags of all the countries, and they have refreshments, and they have food compost sign up, and it's just, I think, going to be a fun afternoon of activity. And it came from Jamilith and Asha. We have our Green Team chair on the meeting tonight, Jonna. She is revamped and revitalized and energized the Green Team. They are actively going after a number of projects as they're looking at garden tours next summer. They're having a fall picnic at the community garden. They're doing a seed swap, setting up seed swaps, and all kinds of other great things. They meet Monday evening at 7 over at Town Center Market. So if anyone wants to join that group, please get a hold of Jonna, and she will do that. They're working on the reviewing the action plan of the Green Team and updating it and making sure that we're moving forward in that area. So I appreciate greatly her taking on that role. And also
Jonna's information.
I'm sorry.
What's Jonna's information for people to contact her?
Oh, okay.
I just put it in the chat.
Fantastic. You're quick.
And Maggie
Thank you,
is,
Rod.
Maggie Pooley is her co-chair, and so like I said, doing wonderful things. Jonna is working on a master's in planning, so she has a lot of expertise to share with us as with the town. We're so glad to have that.
We are.
And then the Port Towns quarterly meeting is Monday night at 6:30. So any of you, I sent out the link. Any of you that can join that, please do. Last but not least, yesterday the Port Towns met with Josephine from Park and Planning to start working, continue working on the Port Towns sector plan update. So they brought a bus load of all the consultants and the staff from Park and Planning that will be doing that project. And the 4 administrators from the 4 port towns joined them, and we toured all 4 communities. It's really a tour that I think it'd be fun if all the elected officials from the 4 towns did sometime, because you got to see all of Edmonston. They even went down Ingraham Street with the bus, chief, so it fit and made it, even though there was a double parked car as they got past it. But the public kickoff for the Port Town Sector Plan is tentatively scheduled for November 15th. It's in the evening at Colmore Manor Town Hall. So more to follow. And as you all know, that's a process that will take through about 2025 when the final product comes out. But it is vitally important, as I pointed out to them, all of the body shops and car repair shops and the use and occupancy permits that needed to be reviewed based on parking spaces in our community, and not just our community. They saw it in Bladensburg and in Colmore Manor and Cottage City, as they deal with the same issues that we all do here. So I was really appreciative of that. I will be presenting at a conference tomorrow at the University of Maryland with the Environmental Finance Center and talking about the wonderful partnership that we have. And I just recently served as a reviewer for the Chesapeake Bay Trust grant round, as I reviewed 9 proposals for grants on one of their projects. So it's been a busy time. We are ramping up for fall activities. So you're going to hear about, obviously you heard about Unity Day. We have salsa night on October 13th. We have trunk or treat on October 27th. We have turkey and Veterans Day celebration, casino night. We have Adopt a Child, of course, and all of the great things there. The mayor this year did a project with students that if they completed, along with Avery, developed a treasure hunt. If they completed that treasure hunt, they were able to obtain a uniform for their school, so, or for wearing to school. So, and then Avery and Jamilith and Asha have been meeting the buses, handing out information, and I think they handed out ice cream pops or ice pops yesterday to the buses. So we're appreciative of that and the work that they do to keep us connected with our school children.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. Any questions? All right, Ms. Tuberville, do you have anything?
Well, since we have our town attorney here, I just had a couple questions that I thought might be useful with respect to some observations that some residents have raised to me and that I have observed myself concerning material that people have in their front yards, like trampolines, things that could be potential attractive nuisances to children, and just seeking your advice on what we can do as a council to try to prevent sort of the proliferation of that kind of thing. It's of course, you know, certainly an eyesore, but it's also a public safety issue. So curious as to what your thoughts are and what we could do considering the town's existing ordinances, or what we might need to do going forward if our existing ordinances and code are not sufficient to sort of enforce some or to prevent the proliferation of this.
Well, obviously, right now, the first thing is to review our code to see if they're in violation of any section of the code. Okay. And that can be for a lot of different things. It could be, you know, noise ordinance if the kids are out there too loud. It could be a lot of different things. But the issue of safety and an attractive nuisance is a real one. I mean, if no one is observing, if they just have it sitting out in their front yard, there's nothing stopping a kid from going and jumping and obviously getting hurt. So what we would need to do is review the current ordinances to see if there's anything that can be done right now. And if not, then we would have to, you know, put it before the council to see if they want to try to legislate this issue. That's essentially what we can do.
Okay.
Don't know if code has been advised of this issue and if they have reviewed code enforcement to see if there's anything that can be done. That's one thing, code. The nuisance issue, the attractive nuisance issue is a real one. I mean, it could potentially be a safety issue. Are they being left unattended or are they putting up or being put up only when they're in use?
Oh, they're certainly unattended. The ones that I've seen have nets, but often the nets are open. And frequently, of course, the areas underneath are like littered with toys. So there's certainly, and the location of some of the ones that I've seen are pretty close to the curb often, because they're in the front yard, right? I mean, I don't really have much of an issue with people who have a netted trampoline in their backyard, right? But like that's something, because most of the time that is behind a gate or a fence. That is not the case with some of these ones that have started to pop up over the summer.
Yeah. We may need to talk about this. We'll provide, you know, attorney-client privilege document as far as advice is concerned. But right now, code can look into the ordinances to see if there's any violations. And if not, there's nothing that we can latch onto, then the board, the council could consider going through the ordinance process to legislate it.
Okay, I did go through a bit of the code this summer, and I'd be happy to send to maybe Rod and the chief the provisions that seem like they might be relevant, and then maybe the best bet is for them to share that with you.
Okay.
And then maybe you could do an assessment for us and come back and tell us what our options are. If it might be possible though, if you're looking at what the existing code and there's some of that you think would be agree would be applicable, then that might be helpful to know before the next council meeting. Like that's something that we could, I assume the code could address before you know they need us to do that.
And
Okay, that sounds good.
I sent Jason, I sent you what Ms. Sarah sent me and Anna, I think it was probably like a month or so ago. I think you did send us the ordinance and stuff. So we didn't ignore you. We just forwarded it to Jason.
I didn't think you ignored me.
To the judge, so he could take a look at it. So thank you for bringing it up. It just reminded me that we did forward it over to him.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
Anything else, Ms. Turberville?
That was it. I'm looking forward to our events this fall for sure. The Hands Across the Bridge event.
Yep. Super. Ms. McCauley?
Believe it or not, I'm good for the night.
Perfect. And Mr. Johnson? I guess no, or he's trying to take himself off. I just wanted to mention if anyone is available, Jolene Ivy and Reverend Gale's End Time Harvest. They will be at Bladensburg Rec Center on Saturday from 9 to 11 for a mental health fair there. If you can support, that would be great. And then again, October the 7th, Hands Across the Bridge. And also if you have anyone or know of anyone or an organization that might benefit, we might benefit from, please let us know. Miss Avery, Miss Asha, or Mr. Barnes, that would be fantastic. Miss Avery, did you want to highlight anything for Hands Across the Bridge?
Nothing more than what was said in the work session, in that we have few organizations we're trying to get demonstrations. Like we have a yoga studio who's going to be giving conducting about a 10-minute meditation exercise, and we're also trying to get something from a town gym, CrossFit, to demonstrate the Brazilian martial arts, and then also Tai Chi. So we're trying to get these demonstrations to be a major part, so they are practices that the participants can utilize at the time and at later as well.
I'd like to ask, I'm not sure if you're familiar with our Hands Across the Bridge, Judge Deloach, at all. We do it yearly, and it's our unity rally. It is done to, it's all about, we want our children to be safe in schools. And with all of it started out with mass shootings and trying to figure out what's the purpose, how does this happen? Where does it come from? And so that's the mental health portion of it. And we do it to provide alternatives for children, as well as to provide knowledge for the parents that they can send them to an after-school program, whatever it is, or if someone needs to talk, we have counselors there, and agencies where they can go. We're going to have Prince George's Family Crisis Center. They do have us on the schedule, Ms. Avery, and other counseling sessions that'll occur. We're providing the yoga just so that they'll know Yoga is a great opportunity to de-stress, and other maybe martial arts that our children can get involved in, so that they don't have that idle time. And then it's called Hands Across the Bridge. It's the Unity Rally, but it's called Hands Across the Bridge because at dark or dusk, we join hands across the bridge in unity, to focus and say, let's have a safe school year, safe life. And I was mentioning to the council earlier that with the death of the young lady who, they were out of school, she was going home or wherever, and this was a stray bullet, I guess, and she's gone now, and she's 16. So
yes, school had just let out.
I'm sorry.
School had just let out.
Right. Who had just, yeah. And they do have measures in school now, which I think are good. We have to do something. May not prevent everything, but we have to do something. So now we also have to do something for after school. But I would love for our schools to join in with us as well. So I don't know if you have any connection, but schools like Duval and Bladensburg, when we join hands on our bridge, it would be great to have them, have a rally at their school and possibly join hands at the football field or whatever it is, because it's not getting better,
Right.
and we have to figure out something. So that's what the Unity Rally and Hands Across the Bridge is about.
That sounds great.
Yes.
Great concept. And I can talk to you about contacts and so forth. So absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. But I think our first year was 2019. And did we skip a year, Mr. Barnes? Because of the pandemic, right? Yeah.
I actually think y'all did it in 2018. I came in on 2019, and that was the second year.
Oh, okay. Okay. 2018. Yeah. All right. So, and I would ask Chief. So Miss Dina mentioned about the temporary parking or the visitors parking and how long we have to pass. I think that's something for all of us, Chief and Code first, and Mr. Barnes, to talk about, because we don't have a restriction as far as days. And so we need to, I guess, identify what qualifies you as a visitor and what qualifies you to be, like, let's say for us, in an apartment community, you move in, you have 45 days. I think I don't know if that's state law. 45 days to turn your tags over and your ID. You don't go to jail for not doing it, but there's a requirement.
Yeah, it's normally the 30-day wait, but when the pandemic happened, they kind of extended it and kind of became lackadaisical with it. But you had 30 days to change your address and notify the NBA. And then during the pandemic, they gave you 60 days.
So we might want to just look at, what's a visitor? Or is it I'm having a party, they're going to be here for the weekend, or is it 30 days? Because they're not real residents here, but they might live here, kind of thing. So we might need to look at those things.
Okay.
Every time I go down to the gardens, somebody's always down there. I don't care when I go down there, somebody's always down there, down by the garden.
Well, we're gonna have the lights there, and hopefully that'll deter them. And I guess the chief he's on alert that he's sending the guys there, the girls and guys there, to check it out a little bit more often.
Yep.
I always say to my residents, sometimes I don't know unless you tell me. So, because I'm not there 24 hours a day.
Yeah, when she brought it up, I didn't even think about it. I thought that street was quiet.
Right. So it's good. Thank you. So that's all I have for good of the order. If no one else has anything.
I'm going to add on to the 30-day pass. Chief, my favorite house on my street, on the corner. I mean, there's been a car with the pass that hangs for the last 2 years, and I think they're out of Montana. He's just visiting.
And now he calls us in reference to some black expedition that parks right there, but it's legally parked. It never sits there for more than a day, if more than an hour sometime.
So he thinks he's a resident.
Well,
Or the homeowner is, but whoever stays with him, they
Montana.
can go.
but he's one that thinks that's his parking for his guest out of town that's been there for a couple years. And if anybody else parks there, then he has a problem because that's his parking space.
And that's what's happening. Every time somebody parks in that spot, he calls 911 and say, well, this car's been sitting here. And we actually saw the car parked one day. And when we got back to the station, he had already called 911. We're not going out for that. We just watched him park.
He's come down to my house a couple times. I said, no. I said, they just pulled in.
You know, Mayor, we were going to appoint a group to look at our parking throughout town. And one of the things Chief and I have discussed is that perhaps we should just go to every street permit parking. And then for the visitor pass, we don't put a date for expiration on it, but we could. There's a place on it that actually you could fill in a date, and then the person would be required to come up to town hall and potentially get new ones, or we could set up a system where we send out revised and change the color or something so that you know that the expired ones are gone and the new ones in effect, or something like that. But I really think maybe now's the time to think back about pulling the group together and looking at, we only have a couple streets, maybe 3 streets that has a portion of them not permit parking. And that's where they've found now, if I'm not mistaken, Chief, that to park some of the cars from the businesses that have spilled into the residential areas, they found those couple of streets that don't require permits, and they're parking there. Yeah.
Maybe we should. I think that's a good idea. See if we can gather some people up to serve on that and have that discussion. But all right, again, nobody has anything else. Look at the order.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Thank you so much.
I'll second.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Johnson. All in favor?
I didn't realize I was muted most of the time.
Oh, and you were talking, huh?
Yeah, it goes in and out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't notify me if it got muted.
Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. But it's all good. Hopefully you voted yay for all of the approval questions.
Oh yeah. Because I was seconding a lot of stuff, and I didn't.
Okay.
That's all good.
Super. All in favor.
Anyway, I second we adjourn.
All right. Well, this meeting is adjourned. Everyone agreed?
Good night.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Are you going to drink?
The light bulb is doing that thing again where it's flashing a lot.
Oh, on and off.
Yes,
Okay.
it's like